Hi there and welcome to this video. My name's Andy Rowe and it's Saturday the 25th of February 2017. So in this video I'm going to have a look at the charts and decide whether I need to do any trades on Monday. This is my weekly trend trading system. But just a little word of advice just before I start. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is just about what I do. It's not advice from me to you. So if you want financial advice, please get yourselves a financial advisor. That's not what this is all about. But hopefully you'll find this interesting and we'll watch through the video. What I like to do is to divide my investment pot into different slices and decide whether I want to be in or out of the asset class, because I'm only really interested in being invested in an asset class if it's going up in price. Now, there are 5 different asset classes that I like to look at. There's shares, there's property, there's gold, there's commodities, and there's bonds. And I like to look at each of them in turn and decide whether I want to be invested in them or not. And I use a pretty simple trend following system. So you can see on the graph here when the price closes, so it's an end of week price that I use. When it closes above the average price for the past 52 weeks, the past year, then I like to buy and remain invested as the asset rises in price, and then as it drops in price, and if it closes below the average for the year, the MA52, then I liquidate the position and turn it back into cash. This is great in trending markets, but when markets go sideways, as you'll see later in the video, this is a bit of a nightmare. But that's the way things go. You can't have everything's perfect all the time, otherwise everyone would be doing exactly the same. So let's have a look at shares and decide how things are going. So this is the graph of the fund that I like to use to be invested in shares, and members of my site will know just what this fund is. And it's been rising in price very nicely. The green line is the MA52, the average price for the year. The black line is the close in price at the end of each week. And you can see that yesterday, Friday the 24th, it made an all-time high. So here it is very nicely. It hadn't gone up very much over the week, actually. The week before it done really well. So but it's nicely above the MA52, so I don't have to do anything. So I just remain invested in that fund. Nice and easy. Okay, let's have a look at property now. This is interesting because property has been falling in price. Now this graph is a graph of an ETF of UK property, an exchange traded fund of UK property, and it's been falling since the summer of its high was in the summer of 2015, so it's been coming down, and it's been below the MA52 for some time now, but this week it closed above the MA52. So regular watchers of my videos will know that last week the price closed just below the MA52, and I wondered whether the price was going to bounce back down or pop through. Well, it's popped through, so this to me is a signal to trade. Now I'm going to buy this fund. I'm going to invest actually half of my property allocation into this fund, because there's another fund that I like to follow, and it's actually an investment trust, and it had been doing very well, and I was following it for some time. It seemed to be giving very clear buy signals and very clear sell signals, but it's been quite choppy, and you can see in recent times how choppy it's been, and I've had quite a few false buy signals that have come to nothing, and the price has fallen back down again, and it's come back up again. Now the reason why I like this trust is it's been established for a long time, so it has a very good track record, and its property portfolio is split between the UK and continental Europe. So I kind of like the idea of having a little bit more diversification, but that's made the price very choppy in recent times. So I am going to invest in this investment trust. The price has risen. It's above the MA52, and the MA52 is rising, which to me is a good sign. So I'm going to put half of my property investment into this investment trust. If the price drops below the MA52, however, I'm not going to liquidate it immediately. I will only do it if it drops below this tram line. You can see these two lines that I've drawn. These are tram lines. If I opened up the graph and didn't use end of week prices and I used candlesticks, you'd see that the spikes of the candlesticks go up to this top tram line, and the bottom spikes come down to this tram line, and you can see here it acted as resistance. So it's quite a robust tram line. Now, if it drops down below the MA52, I'm not going to liquidate this. I'll stay invested unless the price closes below this lower tram line. So I'm going to split my property investment into two. So there you go. That's my plan for Monday. I'm going to do two trades, two buys of two different property investments. Right, let's move on and have a look at gold, the third slice. And for gold, I use the 2-year moving average, which is I've done it in red, just so it's a different color, and you know this a different moving average, because gold's very spiky. You can see this, and using an MA52, a 1-year moving average generates too many false signals. So I had a buy signal here, which was doing really great, and then it fell back away, and I had to liquidate this position. But a couple of weeks ago, gold rose and came up above the MA104, and I bought it, and it's been rising the 2 weeks since then, so it's nicely above the MA104. So this trade is quite nicely in profit at the moment. So you know, that's quite a nice thing. It's what I want, of course. Commodities. Now, the fund that I used to be invested in commodity has come down a little bit this week. The previous week, it had made a new high for this year and the year before. You can see how much this investment has gone up. In fact, when I looked at my broker's account the other day, this investment that I made back here has gone up 60%. So it's done really well, but it has dropped down this week, but that's fine. I'm not doing anything different. I'm not bailing out of the position. I will only do that when it closes below the MA52. Now, that might happen in the next few weeks, or it may happen, you know, in months and months and months away. That's what I hope. I hope it'll rise right up and do very well, and I can profit nicely from the increase in price. So nothing to do, but it has dropped down a little bit. So that's just the way that trading goes. It's ebb and flow. It's like the tide. It comes in, it comes out, waves, wash in and wash out. It's the overall movement that I'm most interested in. So tide out, tide coming back in again. These are the little waves, which I'm not worried about. This is a little wave. I'm not worried about that. And even if it did come below the MA52 in the next week or so, because of having bought it as it rose above the MA52, this would still be a profitable trade. So that obviously, the more it rises up, the safer my position is. Okay, looking at bonds now. I don't trade bonds because they crisscross above their MA52 far too much to make it worthwhile coming in and out of the bond market. So I have 3 different bond funds, one that's denominated in British pounds, one that's denominated in euros, and one that's denominated in US dollars, and I just hold them as just a diversification of my investment. I don't trade them. I don't even look at the graphs. Okay, so let's have a look at the traffic lights. So shares green, so you know, going ahead with this, that's still running. This is the new signal. This was red last week. Now the property light is green for me, so I am going to be investing in property on Monday. Gold still goes ahead, so that stays green. Commodities still well above the MA52, so that's staying green. Bonds in my system are always a green light. Even if they're below the MA52, I don't exit the position, I just hold them. So what have I got to do on Monday? Well, I've got to reinvest in property. So I'm going to be investing in 2 different funds, one UK fund and one investment trust that has a mixture of European and UK properties in it. Members of my site will know what investments those are. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you next week. If you haven't been to my website, please do have a visit, www.trendfollower.co.uk. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye for now.